Hello, it's Nikki. Well, after my episode... Oh, hello, by the way. Welcome to a brand new week. After last week of hinting about manifestation, it turns out quite a few of you are interested in it. So, what I've done is I've broken down my kind of process into 7 steps. And this manifestation scenario is... I don't know if you would actually call it that, but it's kind of the way that I've been able to compute it. When I'm thinking about a goal or moving forward or I've got my heart set on something, basically I want to call something in. That's something I've been thinking about, I want to make it real, is what I'm saying. So I'm going to share these 7 steps with you. And again, you can do all of them. You can pick a mix, 2 or 3. You can take one and go for it. It's entirely up to you. And also, I should just say, there aren't going to be any sexy, I just thought about £100,000 coming into my bank account and I said a prayer and the next day it was there. I'm not going to be sharing kind of any case studies because maybe I am a little bit, but I don't like this sort of jazzy way that people just say, I just thought about it and it happened. Because certainly my experience has been that it takes a lot of things. It takes a lot of moving parts to take you where you want to get to or what you want to call in. Okay, so number 1. When I'm thinking about something or I'm aiming to go to the next level or I am moving towards something, whether it's, I don't know, planning a holiday or doing something I've never done before or calling in a job or selling out a program, whatever it might be, I go to possibility. And this is quite easy for me because that really, I feel really drawn to people's stories. I'm really curious and I want to know how people have done weird and wonderful things. And I'm really fascinated in people's resilience and when they face adversity, that really floats my boat. So sometimes when I am moving into a new arena, I get myself to a place of openness and possibility. So that's what I do. So possibility really leads the way with a big old drum because by being in a state of possibility, it really opens my mind. Now, you might not know that book, or you may do, We Are Going on a Bear Hunt. Basically, it's full of lots of different scenarios or obstacles where it's like, we can't go around it, we can't go over it. I'm really paraphrasing here, I'm sorry. But anyway, it's about moving through it and looking at it in a different way. And that is something that really helps me shake up the way that I do things in my head, because you know that phrase, what's got you here is not necessarily going to get you there. So usually when I'm in this first stage of possibility, I need to get myself in a place of inspiration and possibility. And how did they do that? And suddenly by being able to see things actually to have happened, and it may not be the exact same thing, but sometimes you can hear it, you can see it when people tell their story of how they dug deep, of how they moved forward. That really helps me to have a sense of, hang about, Nikki, let's go, we could do that. Sorry for talking to myself in that way. But honestly, that's what happens in my head. I have to go into possibility. Number 2, it's all about creating the space to allow it to come in. So I've mentioned this before. When we wanted to call in our corner sofa that seats about 8 people, we had to actually start making the process happen. So we started to think, like, where are we going to put the old sofa? What are we going to do with that? How long is that going to take? How big is the ideal one that we want? Is it going to fit through the door? What's going to happen with the rest of the furniture? What would we do? So this is not a case of just thinking, oh, quite fancy a new sofa, and never thinking about it again. This is about doing the work. Now, the corner sofa is not necessarily one that might delve into your emotional state of like, who am I to have a brand new sofa? I should just be grateful for the old one. But maybe there is something much more emotional when you're thinking about a goal that challenges you, that moves you out of your comfort zone. So maybe there's a money goal. Maybe there are some money blocks that you need to uncover. Maybe you want to do something that feels really bold. I know lots of my clients at the moment want to get more visible. And when you think about that, it's not just a case of like, I want to get more visible. I want to get more visible. It's putting yourself in the position that you do your work. So one of the things I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when I talked about the word of the year, so when I was talking about flying, which is my word of the year, if you haven't listened to that, like I really want to fly, I'm 40 in November, I'm like, woo, yeah, fly. I also know on the other side of the coin, I have to spend time in grounding and being really solid and self-care and connection and coming back to base and taking a moment and reflecting and all of that good stuff. So when you're thinking about creating the space of like, I want to do this or I want to call this in, it's an invitation also to see what comes up to the surface. What are the other things that you might need to spend some time, some energy, some effort, some money in? And sometimes that is, say with the visibility thing, it's like, I really need to work with a counsellor or a therapist one-to-one and really work out what this confidence thing is and really work out what this imposter syndrome situation, because it keeps coming up all the time. So by creating this space, it's not just saying, well, I've created the space because I've lit 2 very expensive candles and I'm sitting cross-legged. It's asking those open questions of, so therefore, what do I need? So therefore, what's coming up? So therefore, what am I invited to look at or to heal or to take care of or to release? The two have to work hand in hand. Number 3, when I'm thinking about a new goal, so let's use something really practical in terms of, say, I want to manifest more money. So the instinct, and I guess what people might tell you, is to go, well, I just need to sell more. I just need to tell people, like, buy this, this is for sale, come and join this, work with me one-on-one, buy now, buy now, buy now. But what I like to do is I like to think of myself, and I'm laughing clearly as I'm saying this, I like to think of myself as a sports person. So say I was a sprinter. And actually, if I was going to be a sports person, I'd probably be a long distance runner by now, because did I tell you I ran a half marathon? All right, yeah, Matt even looked at me the other day like, I think you told that story. I think you told that story already. Yeah, when I was thinking, so say I'm preparing for to be a sprinter and I want that gold medal at the next Olympics. I am not going to get there by just sprinting all day long, every second of every minute of every day. I need to have that holistic look at things. So it's about good nutrition, it's about recovery time, it's about massage, it's about maybe doing different exercises that work different bits of my body. So by thinking about myself as a sports person, that could be, is this really clear on my website what I'm trying to sell? Or am I feeling like I've got the capacity to be able to fulfill that work? So thinking about it as a 360 situation as a sports person will really help you. Number 4, when I think about manifestation, sometimes the big goals are so overwhelming that they kind of knock you over. And I think sometimes we can feel like this in terms of what we're working on. And I remember saying this to a coach, and I was saying, like, this is my 5-year plan. And she looked at me like straight in the eye on Zoom, and she's like, 5 years, this is your 5-year plan. And she wasn't doing without shame, you know, she wasn't being mean, but she just really wanted to understand where that 5-year plan was coming from. And she stopped, and after I justified myself, I was like, of course, because this is how long I need. And she challenged that notion, and she said, I don't think you need that long. I think you can do that in a year. And what I found that really helps me get closer to what I want to be, do, and have, to use the coaching tools, is to establish new normals and to be able to check those off the list. So years ago, when I would be in my overdraft and I would have 100 quid to my name, but yet I was going, universe, I want to be a millionaire. Universe, I want to be a millionaire. I had to think, okay, what is the next new normal that I want to have? And my next new normal was like, I don't want to be in an overdraft. That's not how I want to live my life. My next new normal is like, okay, what's going to be my next warrior line? Like, I don't go be below that, and I always have that money that I can access. And that has been really interesting in everything that I've done. So my new normals are, I always make sure I have a spare one. So I'm really revealing like parts of my life now. Like, I never get to the stage. I know this is like glamorous aspirational content. I know. But I never get to the stage where I just have one toilet roll left in my hand. In my hand. I'm carrying this toilet roll around in my cupboard, because I don't want to be in that situation where I'm going, right, they've used a sheet, right, oh gosh, oh, we're getting close now. That takes up so much headspace for me. So I like to have a spare 9-pack in the cupboard. I know, you came here for this. I know. And those sorts of things that state those new normals of showing up as the person who is on their way to what it is that I want to be, do, and have has been really powerful. So I want you to think, maybe in terms of your goals or where you're trying to manifest, what are going to be your new normals? What are those going to be things in place? Because once you've established this is about momentum as well. Once you've ticked off that new normal, the other stuff can start to happen. I've spoken about it so much. Like, the worst bit of running often is getting to the point of putting your trainers on. Actually, I tell a lie. Usually the first 5 minutes is like, I'm so tired, I've never done this before, this bra is wonky, or maybe my boobs are wonky, my foot hurts, I've got cramp, I can't breathe, it's too hot. And then I find my flow because I built that momentum. And then suddenly I'm like, 2K, great. Oh, we're on to the 3rd K. Off we go. Because what I'm doing is I'm in support of that vision. I'm moving that momentum forward. And that's what's happened with the running for me, is once I've been able to tick off certain milestones, the other things, like if I suddenly was like, okay, today I've never run and now I'm going to run a half marathon. It's such a wide gap. So you have to bet on yourself and be in support of that vision, and just give yourself that congratulations of doing the small things first, because once you do, you'll be able to do the bigger things. Number 5 is about practical action and actually building the thing that you want. So maybe I have it the opposite, like too far on the extreme of, I never assume that I'm going to be plucked from obscurity. I'm never going to assume that someone will just happen to type in personal branding coach and they'll find me. So my feeling is going above and beyond of like, how can I take practical action? How can I show people what I can do? How can I tell people? And sometimes that is when I'm trying to manifest something, I'll start to tell people or ask the right questions. So when I'm thinking about us buying our dream house, I'm asking those really awkward adult conversations of like, how did you do this? What, almost like the backstage tour or the behind the scenes, asking the questions from people who have done it, but taking that practical action. It has to be a case that you start to move your feet. You can't just say, and I always say this to my clients, that not that my clients are thinking in this way, but say you want to be a speaker, you've got to take the practical action to write your speaking page, because otherwise it's just a hope on a bike, a dream on an aeroplane. You actually have to do the practical work. Number 6 is about the commitment and the consistency. This has been really interesting for me, and it's really clicked together over the last 18 months, I would say. And what I would end up doing is I would kind of be dabbling. Oh, that's a bold one. I'd be kind of dabbling. So I'd go hell for leather for a couple of months, like I'm doing this, and then I'd just peter off. And my graph, if you can imagine it, would look like a crazy zigzag. And actually what I want to do is to be in the middle line. For me, actually, even though some people will be like, that's not attractive. Like say in my relationships as well, I don't want to be like, I love you, I hate you. I love you, I adore you. I hate you, get out. Like, that's not how I want to live my life. So what I'm aiming to do these days is be constantly and consistently committed. So this is not just something that I blast and I think about all in for a week, and then on Sunday night I go, oh, that didn't work, that didn't happen. I'm always saying, well, look, I'm still working towards that. Okay, let's go again. Let's see how we can do it and take a different angle on it. But this commitment and consistency is so key. And if I look back at the success that I've had in my own life or my own business, that's when it's been, when it's really worked for me, when I've been committed to that vision and not just thinking about it, once a week, but constantly checking in on a day-to-day basis. Number 7, I guess this is, how can things work without being you there, and how can you be in trust? And this can be the hardest step, to absolutely trust that it's going to work out for you. So a coach said this to me once, to believe that your desires, your hopes, your dreams are meant for you. And when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, because actually I have so many hopes, dreams, desires that feel really aligned, that when I think about them, I go, oh, I'd love to do that. Oh, that sounds so exciting. But there are so many things I've never gone, gosh, I would love to drive a digger. Like my 5-year-old be like, I'd love to drive a digger. For me, I've never had that moment where I'd like, oh gosh, that would be amazing for me. It's just not part of my hope, dream, desire, but it's absolutely right for somebody. I also work on the basis of trusting that things are happening and working for me without me being there. So once I've done steps 5 and 6, so the practical action, and number 6, the commitment and the consistency, I am trusting that is out there in the world and people are experiencing this. So the podcast practically really works for me in this step, because it means I've taken the practical action, I'm consistently doing it, and I can 7, have that trust that people are listening and resonating with different parts. Like at the end of every podcast that I put out, I have new client inquiries, people buy stuff, but I'm not going, so you heard the podcast, yeah? You heard the podcast? Did you like it? What was your favourite bit? Are you going to buy something? What's your next... Like, I'm not being that pushy person. And I've had that a couple of times where I've landed on somebody's website and for some reason, something's happened and triggered something. And then the next thing, you get a notification on Facebook like, we saw that you were interested in this, Nikki. Like, what are you going to do next? And suddenly it feels very invasive and weird and you're not quite sure how to be with it. So that trust of knowing that you've done enough and knowing that there is more than enough to go round. And I guess a bonus, number 8, is that sense of, which again takes you back to the step number 1, is there's always more and there's different things that you can do. So if I have, say I have 3 discovery calls in a day, I am not spending that night going, I have been doing this a long while, so this is taking a point to get there. I am not spending that whole evening going, oh my God, do you think they're going to book? Oh, what did they think of that? When I said that thing, did they take it the right way? I am in trust that I have shown up, because I guess I do those other steps. I work on my energy. I think about how I'm going to show up and how I can be useful, and I do the work. So I'm not just turning up on a discovery call going, yeah, I'm kind of interested, I'm kind of not, whatever. Like, by the time we get to be on a call, I am all in. I'm excited about their business, because I don't take those calls with people who I don't think that I can work with. So doing everything that I've done, and also what I would do on a bonus step number 8, is not go, oh my God, are they going to sign up? I go into a state of, I wonder who else would like to have a discovery call this week. I wonder what else is going to land in my inbox, which would be really exciting. Or I wonder what else I could do that would be good to put out into the world. So it's been really interesting going through these steps, and what you can do is you can make it work in a circle. So once you've got to bonus number 8, which is not on my list, but I've just added it in there, you can go back to step number 1, which is all about possibility, because this is about layers. It's about peeling back this onion and looking at all these different things and going deeper and broader and wider. And I see that in my own life. Like, why did that thing happen for me? Oh, because I kept showing up, because I kept doing the thing, because I kept aligning myself further, because I fell down a few times and I managed to pull myself up, because I looked at it from a different angle. And that has been really fascinating to work through the process. And it can work, I guess, when you're thinking about your goal setting, when you're thinking like, okay, what's going to be my March goal? Work through these steps. So I will just pull them all together so you've got them. First is possibility. The second is about creating the space and doing the inner work. Number 3 is thinking about being a sports person. Number 4 is about being and setting new normals for yourself that are in support of the vision. Number 5, it's about practical action. So actually doing the work, setting the thing live, showing up, doing the do, basically. Number 6 is about consistency and the commitment. So this is not just something you dabble with. It's something that you're actively working towards every single day. And if you miss a day, we're not going to worry about it. You're just going to go back and start again, and off we go. And number 7 is about that trust and not being worried about all of the things, and trusting that you have done exactly what you set out to do. And number 8, it's about believing that there's always more. And I'm not saying that you should go on a date being like, oh yeah, here I am. I'm here in this present moment, but there's always going to be more. Like, this is not about looking over somebody's shoulder. This is being about in the present moment. But also, it's not about being really committed to, is this person going to be the person that's, we've all been on dates. Oh my God, I remember going on this date years ago, and this man was literally looking for a wife. He wanted a wife almost by the end of the day. It was that thing of like, so do you think this is going to be the case? Well, you can imagine how unattractive that was, because immediately when he was coming towards me of like, do you want to be my wife? Do you want to be my wife? I don't even know if he really wanted me to be his wife. Like, I think he just wanted a wife. It made me retreat. It made me kind of want to run away, because I was like, woo, this is a bit full on. He was quite full on. Anyway, that's another story for another time. So I hope you found today useful. Please share with me via email if there's something that you want to kind of do the equivalent of putting it in an envelope and then sending it out there. You can do that in my inbox, hello@nikkiraby.com, and come on over. I'm going to actually invite you somewhere. Come on over to nikkiraby.com. You can look under the personal branding coaching section. If you want to work with me for 30 days, you can do that. And this is a really great moment for you to go, I actually need to do the thing, Nikki, because I've been talking about it, and it's March next month or next week even, and I need to do it because I don't want to be going, you know how we all were, like 2021, woo, yeah, it's going to be my new year, and I know we've had many obstacles this year already, but you know what? It's not too late. Let's do the thing. Let's get it moving and shaking. And even if you might be full of fear, like, I've never spent money on this before, or who am I to do it? We can work through all of those things. Don't worry. You'll be held in a very safe place. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being with me today. Happy manifesting. I hope it's really great for you. And let me know what you are working on. Also, tag me and share this on your stories across social media. I would really love that. And as always, I'm sending you lots and lots of love, and thank you for being here. And I'll see you on Wednesday.